Graduated, elevated. Now it's my time to shine. Yeah, let's go. Graduated, elevated. Now it's my time to shine. Yeah, let's go. Major moves, power moves.
But as individuals, it just depends how we are able to tackle those things, how we are able to handle those feedbacks. That's what counts the most, you know. So again, going back, please don't quit the program. If you think there's scope for you to take a break, go and take a break, even if it's for one semester or 1 year. I mean, in my case, I took a break for 4 years. But I didn't waste my 4 years. I will not say I was, because I was trying to read up. I was trying to do some research on my own. I was trying to publish journal articles on my own. So the 4 year break that I took was very refreshing when I got back into the program. And now that I've submitted the thesis, I feel that the frustrations were worth it. I just feel that it was worth it. So.
No, I love it. Thank you very much. And I think to summarize again, not to undermine your words, it's just all about work experience and having that self-motivation and wanting to learn about yourself. And I think once you realize that was your weakness, you were able to work on it and see the value from the criticism. And I think the other skill as well from the criticism, you're able to now criticize your own work before
Yes.
somebody else does.
100%.
Which is a key skill that
Exactly.
we need in research, and also in terms of conferences when you're presenting, just to know, okay, they're going to ask me that question, what am I going to say? I haven't looked at that because actually it's an oversight, as you've mentioned. So thank you very much for your detailed answer. The next question is, what are the key bad habits that you can develop during your PhD? I've got plenty, but I'll leave this one to you.
Oh gosh, bad habit. I think one of the things my friends tell me, for me, I don't find it as a bad habit for myself, but my really, really close friends over here, they tell me that you need to take a break. They're always like, you are. I mean, you can imagine it's a Sunday, it's a public holiday, and I'm on campus today, so you can imagine how boring.
That's my life, so don't say that.
So one of the bad habits I think you can develop is sort of loss of social life at times. You might not have an active social life, especially if you're a single person, I guess. If you don't have a family, in that aspect, you might not really have time for social life because you are too sort of engrossed into the whole PhD process that you might have that. But that's not only me. I know there's another friend of mine who's doing a PhD in psychology. He told me recently, he said, this year I'm not going to be attending any social events. Oh, he's submitting his thesis in October. He said, I'm not having a day off until October. But I hope, and that's just one aspect of it, the bad habits. I'm not going to say how to handle the bad habits. I'm just going to outline it. Another one can be, I think, a common one for all would be procrastination. We sort of hold on to something, and this happened to me a lot, Norma, when I was doing my chapters for the results and the findings. I was like, right now I've been writing all this while looking at other people's papers and other people's work, but now I have to put in what I have found out, and it was a bit of sort of scary how to put it, but my supervisors, of course, were amazing. I just was honest to them. I said, I don't know how to do this. How am I going to write it? And they were like, no, this is something you should be very excited about to write. So procrastination can be in so many aspects. People can have procrastination every single day into the program. And it goes back to what you said about trying to self-motivate yourself, self-motivate, exactly. So those are just some of the bad habits you can get. Is another bad habit you would say, like, again, it's related to the social circle as well, is that it might be difficult for you to make time for anything outside of your office hours or out all of that. One bad habit which I don't have, but other friends do have this, is that they put in a lot of hours after hours. So, for example,
Yeah.
you know, you are expected to go home and rest. In that aspect, I'm good. I go home and I would not look at my thesis, or I won't look at the results chapter or anything for that matter. But I have a number of friends who usually sleep at midnight or wake up in the middle of the night, and they'll start working and things like that. So one bad habit would be sleepless nights. People, for some people, yeah, it works. But for me, I know I just don't want to go in that boat. Like, I'm not somebody who would want to go into that. But that could be one of the things. And another bad habit is that you get into just reading, in the sense that it's not probably reading just for your thesis. It can be reading for something else. Like recently, I picked up a book which is looking at this was given to, it's a free copy that was given to us by the the graduate school has given us this book. Even though I have finished, I have still got into a habit of just reading,
Yeah.
just reading, and buying lots of books which you don't have the time to read. It's a very bad habit.
It is. I agree. But do you know what? When you walk into a shop and you smell all those books, it's like they're inviting you to say, buy me. And then when you go into we've got charity shops here, so you can go in there and you can buy like used books, or you can get them for free because no one else is buying them. And I just keep collecting, and I'm like, oh my gosh, when am I going to read those books?
Yes.
So no, I do get it. It is a bad habit. So I think we've gone over our time.
I mean, I'm
So
okay if you have any further question. I know it's midnight over there.
yes, but I've got a question. So I'll ask this question, which is, what advice do you have for a first year PhD student?
This is a very recent question from a colleague who just joined the PhD program here.
Did they send it to me?
I'm not sure, but I won't count on saying no. So he he joined the program less than 2 months ago, and in one of the initial coffee catch-ups that we were having, he said, "What advice do you have for somebody who's just starting off a PhD? What do you suggest?" One of the things I mentioned was that get to know the people in your field. So you try and read um, the work of people who are in your field, so that on top of your head, you know that these are the people that have looked at things from a wider perspective, or looked at things specifically in your particular field. So try and read as much as, and try and remember their names if possible, as much as you can. That's one thing that you have to do with reading part as well. The other thing for a first year PhD student is try and come up with a daily routine that you can manage. Don't come up with a routine that you have just come up for the sake of it because another colleague was doing that. Don't do that. What fits in with your uh, body language, or what fits in with you, is what will work with you, or will work for you, sorry. So what you can do is, for example, daily routine would be, do you work better in the mornings or do you work better in the afternoons? What is your style? Like one of my friends, what he does is that he'll work from the morning until lunchtime. Then he takes a whole break from lunchtime until probably the whole afternoon, and then he goes back to campus late afternoon and returns early in the night or like 9 p.m.-ish or something like that, because those are the hours that works really well for him. So you have a different routine. Like for me, it's a different thing. I'll start off my day at 8 o'clock or something, and I'll stop by 6 or 5:30. Usually, that's what I do. And once I'm done, I'm done. So for first year, think of a routine that can actually work for you. Stick to it as much as possible, and then of course it has to be flexible. You can change it because you don't know what meetings you can be coming across. Another thing for first year students definitely is attend as many training sessions as you can that is being offered by the university, because universities offer these programs for free. You don't have to pay anything. They invest a lot of time on you, so make use of these training sessions. It can be just simple thing like learning how EndNote works. I've benefited a lot from EndNote, how it works. And you can learn on software, you can learn on writing skills, you can learn about publications. They can have so many things. The next one that I will suggest, and I strongly suggest this, is it doesn't matter how far you are in the candidature. Let's say you have just joined in January, or you have gone 3 months into the candidature, 4 months into the candidature. If the university is running a thesis submission workshop, it's the number one thing that you have to attend. Just go for it. Don't say that I will wait after 3 years, that's when I'm going to attend my first thesis submission workshop. No, that will be too late. The reason is, when you attend the thesis submission workshop, this is the place where your expectations are sort of outlined, that this is when you need to archive the data, or how this really helped me to plan out my last submission date. So for example, I knew that the library would take 2 weeks to archive my data, signing of forms. All these things are explained in the thesis submission workshop, or what is the process. If you miss this, and then when you come towards your final year and you are saying, oh, I'm going to submit my thesis next week, and then you find out that, well, you didn't check the processes, you cannot submit next week because you have 4 weeks of other admin work to go through. I think doing a PhD is easy, but from after the PhD, the submission part, you need to be very tough on yourself. You need to make sure that you have ticked all those boxes. So that's another advice I will give to first year PhD students, that don't think that you'll wait last minute to attend the thesis submission workshop. Another thing, again, for first year students is try and make contacts as much as possible. If you are especially on campus, I would say. I mean, you can still do that even if you are studying online. But if you are on campus, when you are attending these seminars, when you are attending conferences, try and do networking. So you wouldn't even know where it will lead. It's so important to get in touch with people, give them your details, get hold of them on social media if possible, on Twitter especially, and not that you can keep messaging them or something, but just so that you can build that network, because it has really helped me now that I'm working on a monograph. There have been so many academics here who have really told me, okay, this is how you approach a monograph or a thesis, or this is the way you go with the publisher, or have even suggested the names of publishers. So your contacts in the first year will go a long way. My contacts in such a way, there are a number of academics. There's a professor in peace studies as well. We now know each other so well. So when we're having lunch, she'll sometimes just sit with us and have lunch, and then I will ask her some questions that probably I just need clarification on. That I'm writing this particular aspect. What do you think? What's your take on this? Or, like a simple section on positionality. I remember talking to her and getting some advice. But it's only because you are able to build that network. And networks are priceless. They're so priceless. Exactly. So do that networking bit, I would say. So overall, in that 1 year period, you need to do some reading to know the people in your field. You need to have a good routine that you can work with, realistic routine that you can work with. You then, of course, need to do networking as well. Try and make as many helpful networking people that you can, get hold of. That definitely help you in your first year, and attend the training sessions, as I said to you.
Lovely. So, in terms of your research skills, then, how does one develop their research skills during their PhD journey from first year all the way to if they finish in third year or fourth? Some people, in 8 years. How does that come about, in your opinion?
I think this is one of the things that when you are just beginning your journey, you might be just thinking that the supervisors will help me develop a lot of things, or the university is going to push me to do a lot of things like that. Again, the onus is on you. You are the person who needs to develop these skills, right? And you can easily see these things after at least 1 year into the program. After investing your 1 year into the program, you will see that how your skills are developing. Now, skills developing does not necessarily mean that you have been able to come up with a whole new methodology to handle something or a new style of that. No. Here, research skill also mean you develop the concept of paraphrasing, rewriting something. What you might not have been able to do at the beginning of your candidature. Now, after a couple of years, you are able to be like, oh yeah, so this is what this person is saying, but how do I fit in? This is how I fit in. And then you can easily put in what you want to say. That's one of the things that you'll see yourself easily develop. Then, of course, you have knowledge of the field. You get an idea of what is in the field, what is happening, what are the methods people are using at the moment, or what are the other areas they have investigated in that particular field. For me, what I've done, because I'm connected on Twitter with people who are in the field, or Twitter handles which are looking at linguistics across Australia, or the main publication houses as well. When a paper is out, I'm like, oh yeah, so now I get to know this. So the skill has developed in the sense that I know that I'm able to connect with the field. I can see myself that I can connect with the skill. Another skill, of course, that you're going to develop is your writing will improve. Your writing will surely improve. So from the first draft that you do, you will notice as soon as you get feedback from your supervisors, you will slowly understand their mindset. What are they looking at, or what are they trying to push you? Somebody asked me recently about my principal supervisor and said, how would you define your principal supervisor? So I said, the simple answer I can give you is that he is someone who will take you out of your comfort zone and make you think. So that's what I said. And when I met him 2 weeks ago, and I said, Prof, did I give a good definition? He said, you gave the perfect definition, because that's exactly what I've tried to do. So in terms of your skills, you will become an independent researcher. So when you move out of your PhD program, or coming towards the end of your PhD program, when you want to apply for postdoc opportunities, or when you are looking to apply to the private sector, and just outline there that this is what you want to do, you will be independent, because you have got the skills. Your supervisors are not going to hold your hand right till the end. You then have to use all these skills that you have got, and you would have got these skills along the way, and present yourself as an independent. Yeah, this is what I am planning to do in my postdoc. This is the method I'm going to use. This is where the need is, and all of that component comes in. So if somebody says I've invested 3 years, 4 years, 8 years, I haven't got a single research skill, it's only because you haven't looked at it from a critical point of view. Like I said, the simple thing is paraphrasing. Have you gotten more ideas of how to summarize your articles, or things you were not able to do? Probably you are better able to read academic texts from the time that you started the program. Now, when you're looking at a particular book, you actually know what the book is telling you. instead
Exactly.
of the first time you picked up the book and then you said, I have no idea what this person is trying to say. So you can develop that idea as well in terms, yeah, of course, in terms of developing your research skills. And there are endless things that people will figure out, not only with the use of software, but how you get in terms of a presentation of data, how you start handling questions about your own research, how you defend a particular methodology, or how you make a stand on those things. Those are all skills that you develop. Because if you are able to defend your work, there you go. You have basically become an independent researcher because you don't need someone to hold your hand. You know how to defend yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you very much. The last question you'll be glad to know is what are the key 3 skills that you can say that a PhD or a postdoc or a researcher needs in order to survive academia, in your opinion?
3 skills. Okay. We are being very stringent here.
That was the question. They said 3, don't give me any more.
Well, if we really have to, then I will put it into 3. So, first of all, you need to have a thick skin if you want to survive in academia. Thick skin meaning you can be talking about your research with an ordinary audience. It might not be an academic, and they might say, "So what?" You understand? That
Exactly.
"so what" can
Mm.
sometimes come out as something very rude for you, or something that you didn't expect. But you look at it from another point of view, that it's probably you were not able to make sense to this person what you were trying to get into. Something we call the elevator pitch. When you are,
Okay.
if you are able to sell yourself with that elevator pitch, you know that yes, you have been able to send the message across. So definitely one of the things is that, grow a thick skin, make sure that you are ready to take on board and not get offended at the same time. That's one of the things. Another thing that you need in order to survive in academia, I would say, is being critical of your own work. You need to ensure that fine, whatever criticisms have come about, that okay, this is just one thing I can improve on, and just go for it, and then definitely make the improvements. Instead of just sort of getting really depressed about it, or somebody said something that your article does not fit in here, and it's not they critiquing you, it's just that they are saying that at that point in time probably the journalist is not able to accept your paper because of so and so reasons. So be ready and sort of be open to criticism. Probably something I can say. Be open to criticism in that aspect. So that would be good to have. And the last one, what would I say to survive academia? I would say maybe be humble to survive academia. Humble in the sense that if you are attending a simple seminar series or presentation and somebody has talked about something and you are not in favor of what was being said, but it doesn't mean that you get up on stage and then try and trash the person who has just spoken, right?
Yeah.
You want to survive in academia in the sense, so you need to learn to be humble. Sometimes you don't have to be the smartest person in the room and ask as many questions as possible. Sometimes you're just a listening ear. So just be that person and just be there and try and see from that person's point of view. Maybe you are so interested in your own point of view that you are not considering what the other person has said, and you missed the point. As simple as that, you missed the point because you are so into just looking at the other person's point of view. So going back to the 3 things um, that I would say on top of my head. Number one, grow a thick skin. You need to have a thick skin. Number two, be critical of your own work. be open-minded, be ready to accept criticism in that one. And finally, the last one is you need to be humble. It's a skill that you develop, because you will meet people who have been in academia for so long, they are not humble, or you will meet people who have been in academia for so long and they are just amazing. You will find them so approachable. You will find that you can easily connect to them. That can be so amazing, you know. So those are the three things that I would say you need to survive. But it can change depending on the person.
No, I think I love that. And I think it's when it comes to skills and what you need, it links into your own character as a person. And
Yes,
it links into how you perceive yourself and how you think the world perceives you when it comes to the essential skills, I guess, in terms of how to survive academia, because we all see ourselves differently and we've all been through so many journeys in life.
yes,
And I love the word humble, because I think you need humbleness in everything that you do.
exactly.
Otherwise, it just won't work out.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
That's my opinion, though. That's just my opinion. The last question, I think you know the question anyway. Um, you've agreed to come back on PhD Hard Talk, so thank you very much for your time again. What are your thoughts on PhD Hard Talk? Do you think it's beneficial for the community in terms of PhD research students, and also beneficial for universities? Because we come on here, we rant, we also discuss our research as well, essentially, and we share our publication links. Do you think it's beneficial, or no more, call it a day, don't bother with the next series, it's done?
No, no, not at all. I think you do a fantastic job, and hats off to your team who are so devoted in creating such a beautiful content that reaches to such audience across the world. And I know that everybody is benefiting from it. And we can see it because of the questions that have come across. And, you know, one of the questions that you mentioned about PhD and the money part is that I think it might not be a question that can be asked to the supervisor, or a question that can be asked to the HDR coordinator or something. But if someone is coming with a question like that to PhD Hard Talks, it's only because they feel that, yes, there is a platform where I can put this question across, you know. And I'm so glad that you recalled that I did say I'm more than happy to come back to answer any, I mean, to have a session like this where we can both sort of try and help our colleagues around the world as much as possible. That's what we're trying to do. So definitely it has been beneficial. It has been beneficial for me, because when the videos went out last year, the two videos, and people I thought might not be interested, and they said, wow, you know, I like this issue that you have talked about, I like the content. And people on Facebook had done a really nice snippets of that, and then they put there that they really enjoyed the conversation, talking about the research problems. They outlined, they said, yeah, this is a huge problem. Some people made suggestions as well. They said, once you are done, can you please approach or contact these people? So I could see it really generated a lively discussion. So I have a strong feeling, more than those, I think this particular session that you and I have come across, I mean, just done today, will be really, really beneficial for other PhD colleagues, because we have tried our best to sort of tap into their shoes, and and try and say that, don't worry, you're not alone. We've all experienced this, or we know people who have experienced this, but that's not the end of the world. This is how you can make a particular difference. So hats off again to you, Norma, and PhD Hard Talks team, for not only having me, but for giving the platform to so many voices to come out through this.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm going to say this officially, Dr. Prashneel. Thank you for your time today. It's been such a pleasure. So, if you do want to get in contact and you are interested in Dr. Prash's publications. Please do look at the links at the bottom. And also, we've just started something new. We're sharing little clips from the videos on LinkedIn, whereby we can share in terms of the details for contact details, for links for publications, and also the university if you do want to go to that university as well, so you can speak to Prash to understand a bit better in terms of the culture there. And also we do the same on Instagram, but it's quite different in terms of the format, but you'll be able to find his details in terms of getting in contact, and of course Twitter and TikTok, but the formats are different there. Next thing is, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the content. And obviously, if you do want to be a guest, feel free to get in contact and hopefully we can book your session. But thank you so much, Dr. Prash.